The broadcast is
And
live.
we are live. Yes, indeed we are. I missed Lance's stream because I didn't know how to get on it, and so I just wanted to do one where I could talk to someone about the EU. And Marcel was kind enough to join me. So we're
The
just
expanding
gonna
universe. I love
see what
that.
happens.
Yeah.
EU. I thought you were I thought you were Marshall.
Oh no. I don't
No.
I don't care for the new stuff.
Okay. Just making sure. Just checking. So, have you been reading any EU lately, aside from your readings?
No, I finished Labyrinth of Evil, and now I'm at a crossroads in terms of what I should be reading next. I have a couple things that are possibilities. I could delve into the Galaxy of Fear series, which I kind of missed the mark on.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because it would have been better to do in October, but there was just too much going on at that point. The other option is Wraith Squadron, because I finished the Back to War, and that would be a reread for me, Wraith Squadron. But I mean, Aaron Alston, that's like his best work, right? The Wraith Squadron book. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting back into that eventually. And then the other option would be maybe some Old Republic content, like some of the SWOTOR books, maybe like Deceived, and
Gotcha.
then
there. Yeah,
Fatal Alliance.
That's sort of the era you're going to be doing for your readings pretty soon. So reacquaint yourself with the era there, perhaps.
Yeah, that's true. Next up, I'm going to finish up the Tales of the Jedi stories, and then I'm finally going to get to the Ruins of Cabus Dabe and Jedi Protector, because I know you want me to read the intro to that. And then I'm going to start getting into the KOTOR stories. Blue Pig, that is unbased. But then he follows
Noah's book too
with a based comment. So
indeed, it seems like it'll be a good chronology there. I've not ordered my copy yet. I need to get around to doing that. I just spent a bunch of money on New EU, including this, which is a non-Legends copy, which I hadn't found a non-Legends eBay paperback for these. So I had it in my eBay cart for a Legends paperback copy of both of these books. It was $20, but then I found these for $3.99 each.
Oh, that's really cool. I
was like, well, that's a Legends. Yeah.
I think both of my copies of The Force Unleashed 1 and 2 have the Legends banner on them. Not many of my books do, but
gotcha. Yeah.
Those ones do. Yeah. Although I did purchase X-Wing Mercy Kill, the hardcover, Brennan. I know we were talking about it before.
Nice.
Yeah. It hasn't come yet. I got it.
Okay. You got the non-Legends banner one, then?
Oh, I hope so. Is there a hardcover Mercy Kill with the Legends banner on it?
Oh, I actually don't know. I think I'm wrong about that. It's only the paperback that has Legends banners.
Yeah, I hope not, because that would be terrible.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to have you on at some point. That was a great intro video.
For sure.
Fantastic. Blue Pig's soul was being crushed. Oh no.
Hop back on.
Are you sure it just wasn't our souls crushing? Are you sure it wasn't our hearts crushing when you demeaned the Thrawn trilogy, and it had an effect on you as well? What do you think, Blue Pig?
I can only hope when he says hop back on the horse that he means hop back on, reading Dark Horse Star Wars comics.
Indeed. Do you have that saying in Canada?
What? Hop back on the horse?
Saying hop back on the horse, yeah.
Yeah, we say that. Maybe not.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's see. 2 years in. I think my first video was August 2019. It was a really bad video. I'll play it here for you guys. It was called "The Real Star Wars Sequels Are on Bookshelves." Was the title of it. See if I can find it. I don't remember if I took it down or not.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Videos. Let's see. I sound like a baby. Let's find where it is. Have to do a lot of scrolling because desktop YouTube cannot sort your videos by oldest anymore. It can only go by popular or newest. Oh, I found it. So 2 years ago, what was the release date on this? September 13th of 2020. So yeah, 2 years. 2 years now. Let me share screen this. Wait a minute. That's not it. I might have actually taken it down, did I?
That's
I
too
did.
bad.
I think I took it down. I wonder if I can still find that anywhere. So it was a video called, I think I took it down because I sounded like a little kid. Because, well, I mean, I was 14 back then. But, so the video I said, the real Star Wars sequels aren't the crap that Disney have put out. And then I went on to say, the real Star Wars sequels are on bookshelves with the Thrawn trilogy, New Jedi Order, and Dark Nest. That's what the video was. So I took it down so Noah couldn't criticize me for praising Dark Nest, I suppose. But yeah, I took it down, but it was before September 20th of 2022, or of 2020, I suppose. So it's been a little while now. Yours was a couple months ago, right, Marcel? Like early this year, February? Is it February of this year?
No, it was 3 months ago. Actually, I think it was like late August.
Gotcha.
Or early
Tales
September.
of the Jedi video, right?
There was one right before that. The Tales of the Jedi video was my second one. There was one right before that where I tweeted John Jackson Miller and asked how to pronounce Revanchist, and
that's a good one.
And then I did sort of just like a musical montage to the Expanding Universe Through the Ages, kind of like Alex's intro video. And
that
then
was the first video of yours I saw, yeah.
Yeah, and then I started just getting into the readings after that and putting out my podcast on YouTube. I'll probably branch out and do some more stuff, but right now I'm very comfortable just doing the readings. So
yeah, absolutely. Blue Pig says that the Thrawn trilogy is what was it soul crushing? It was a delayed response. It festered. The real Star Wars sequels aren't the crap Zahn wrote in '91. That's quite
this is why I love Blue Pig, because I actually don't disagree with him. I think like he's really brought me around to his opinion on the Thrawn trilogy.
I mean, Dark Empire is better than the Thrawn trilogy, and the Thrawn trilogy is overrated, but it's still really good.
That's it. Everything that you just said, I 100% agree with. So you won't hear any argument from me.
I think I got into the. I am 16, but closer to 17 than to 16. I got into the EU after The Last Jedi. Well, my first EU novel was 2017. My grandmother bought it for me. It was Scourge from a Barnes & Noble. I realized it was a separate timeline. Then in 2018, that was the year The Last Jedi came out, right? I think. I don't remember, but I hated it with a passion. So
actually, Last Jedi came out 2017.
2017? All right. Wow. So maybe I got into it 2017 or 2018. I don't remember, but one of those years, and I was like, this is terrible, this movie. So there's got to be something better, right? And so I went to a comics shop, bought went to a library, read a bunch of graphic novels with Quinlan Voss, and fell in love with the EU, and then started collecting like really collecting and making sure to get everything in 2019, which was kind of inspired by Matt Wilkins, who I discovered in 2018. The Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy, Alex would like to have some words with you. Wow. But I don't disagree. Truce at Bakura and X-Wing are worthy. Would you say those are worthy installments to further Return of the Jedi, Marcel?
Yes, especially the X-Wing novels. I think Truce at Bakura works really well. Like I like the conceit that it's like, right after Endor, the Empire and it's a little contrived because like right after Endor, like the Empire and the Republic, or the alliance at that point has to work together. But I like that idea. So it's a little contrived, but I do like the idea. And then the X-Wing novels are just classic, and they work so well with explaining how the New Republic kind of got off its feet, how they liberated Coruscant, and how they ended up becoming the only galactic government in town afterwards, right? So
yeah, it wasn't. Return of the Jedi would have you believe it was an overnight transition. The Death Star is blown up. That's it. It's New Republic. Everyone wins. In reality, it makes sense, and we get to see in the EU that it's months and years of fighting until they can finally get a hold on a free galaxy.
Yeah,
which is something the EU did really well, right?
Yeah, I was raging about this in the Discord server the other day, but it just doesn't make sense that Lucas put in all those scenes of Naboo and Coruscant and Bespin, and they're all celebrating and cheering after the Emperor gets killed, and I don't think that that's realistically how it would have played out. I think that
you're absolutely right.
The Empire would have shut off the HoloNet, or they would have clamped down on that information. Even if it got out, I don't know that people would be, partying in the streets to that extent. All of this is just me trying to justify why Yub Nub works better than Victory Celebration.
Yeah, that's very true. Those were some mistakes that Lucas made, especially how he removed Lax Sivrak from Mos Eisley, the Wolfman. In the remastered version, he's not in there. Yeah,
really?
He's not in the cantina. Can't see him.
Oh,
he's
man.
replaced with a Pacuthip, but
oh, thanks,
indeed
man.
He does. I've seen most of them like half dozen times at least.
That's really nice. Thank you.
Family members and friends to hearing them. They're great.
Just trying to create a resource for people so that they have these stories available in audio format in case the written records get purged over time.
Absolutely, and we've got to hold on to all of these. Some of these are super short paragraphs. It's pretty hard to grab everything. I was setting Alex some stories that he'd misplaced today, and it's we can lose track of them if we're not careful, right? So we've got to document everything, make sure we have everything, and these audio readings, unless YouTube goes down, are a pretty permanent way to make sure that at least some of the story is retained, right?
Yeah, I mean, if YouTube were to ever go down, I'd create backups of all the audio recordings, so they'll exist in some format as long as I do, I guess. So,
I mean, I have never thought about backing up videos, so I probably not a wise call on my part.
Well, YouTube's been around for as long as I can remember, so I'm not really concerned about it going down.
I think YouTube existed before I did.
I honestly think that of all the online websites and services, YouTube is here to stay.
Yeah, it's hard to conceive how it could, stuff like Instagram or TikTok or Vine, they come and go. But I feel like YouTube's here to stay.
Yeah.
Indeed it is.
Indeed.
You're brainwashing. Yes. Yeah. And I discovered it when I was 11, going on 12. A preteen who enjoyed the expanded universe over the flashy new movies. I was very lucky that I discovered it as early as I did. It's allowed me to assemble something so early that I'm very lucky indeed. I just wish I'd been around for the golden era of the EU, when it was still around.
Brendan, I like to tell people you're like the light side ending of my life. I'm living the dark side ending right now, but you're the light side ending. If I had stayed an EU fan through my teenage years, as opposed to getting into other things and losing faith eventually when I was in my 20s and they decided to get rid of all of it, you're the light side ending. You've kept the faith, so keep doing that.
Yeah, and you've been redeemed though. You look Keldroma style.
Yeah, exactly.
Come back into the EU fold, right?
Can't wait to get shot now.
Oh, jeez. Please don't. That would be terrible. Yeah, I was always a big book reader. I read the Hardy Boys, all like 190 of them. I read the Boxcar Children, The Land of Stories, Wings of Fire. Lots of books that I really enjoyed. But then I stopped reading everything when I discovered the EU. Then it was like the EU almost killed my love of reading because then I was only reading the EU. I was no longer reading anything else. I'll get around to other books eventually. I guess I read Dune um, while I was reading the EU, but all right, Kevin. Um, yeah, it's really weird because it seems like the majority of the Star Wars fandom is almost ashamed of the EU. Do you get that sense, Marcel?
I think that for a lot of people, they have a lot going on in their lives, and they need to be told, what they should care about. And they have Disney, who now owns Star Wars, telling them that you should care about the Disney canon because that's the official story, nothing else. And so I think a lot of people just accept that at face value without seeing what else is out there. You and I both saw it in that on Wikipedia, that fandom chat where someone asked, what's better, canon or the EU? And one person chimed in and they said, well, canon, because it's canon. And if that were the only reason why you'd like a story because some corporation told you that it was official, I don't know. I mean, I don't really care so much about canon. I care about continuity, and I prefer the old continuity to the new one. So I don't think a lot of people think that way like you and I do. So I think that really and for a lot of reasons, like I said, people lead busy lives. There's all this media trying to grab at their attention, and so they just default to whatever's easiest, and whatever's easiest is someone telling them, this is what counts. The rest of it doesn't.
I hear some people, and it's really weird. Also, sorry, you got my gears turning. Have you heard that expression?
Yes, I've heard that expression.
Okay. So I just thought of something because one complaint in a debate I had almost 2 years ago, all of a sudden this came back to my mind. They said that the EU was worse because there was too much of it, right? And so that could be like you're saying, they're told what's easiest. That's irrelevant. This stuff is relevant, right? And this is the new stuff that's coming out. So this is what's relevant. This is what's trendy. This is what you should be with. But then the EU over here, that's messy. That's riddled with contradictions. They did it a service when they shot it, right? So that is why some people are dismissing it. They're intimidated by it. It's so expansive that they don't have the time and they don't know where to start. And that could be like, we love that the EU is expansive, right? And that it comes in so many different formats in different eras.
Right.
I guess to a casual fan, that could be intimidating, and that could be why they stick with what's easiest, a small universe that is trying to build but still seems more disconnected than the EU ever was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of two minds about that. Like, I understand that way of thinking, but if you open up any expanded universe book that's been produced, in the last 20 years, you'll see there's a very helpful timeline that allows you to determine when the book takes place, and so you can decide what you want to read and in what era. And if that's not enough, I think that there are a lot of helpful guides online, as well as Matt Wilkins' channel and your channel and other channels that can help people determine what they might like and what might resonate with them. I guess for some people who don't care about continuity, the Disney canon has more to offer them because those stories are fairly, I would say, for the most part, self-contained and inconsequential, right? So if they're self-contained, then you can just pick up a Disney canon book and read it, and you're fine because it doesn't really, reference. There's some Easter eggs in it, but it doesn't really reference a whole lot of what else is going on in the universe. But for someone like me, I like seeing the references because I like it. I like my knowledge being rewarded. I like that these stories matter because they reference one another. And I just don't see enough of that in the new timeline, and it doesn't appeal to me as a reader. I always, I'm not so big on the MCU anymore, but when it was first coming out and how these movies would reference one another, I thought that was so cool that they were all in the same universe. I love shared universes.
Absolutely, and that's what got me into the MCU as well. When I was a little kid, I was the one kid who didn't like superheroes.
Yeah.
I was like, people with superpowers fighting robbers, like that's stupid. I was like, I'm never getting into Marvel. When I watched the first phase, my mind was blown. I was like, this is referencing this. And I was like, this is like the EU, but with like superpowered beings. This is amazing.
Exactly.
I sat down. I sat down with my grandmother to watch it, and she was pointing out all of the connections. She was following it, and I really made a fan of her. Now she's watching it with my cousin all over again in chronological order. So I'm proud of that. I made a fan of her. She thought it was really cool, and we went to theaters to see one of the movies with her, and she was laughing at all of the jokes that my cousins weren't getting because they hadn't seen all of them.
Right.
She was just laughing the entire time because she got all of the references. So like, that's why it's so good. There's payoff, right? And with the EU, there's payoff.
There's payoff.
Disney canon, there's not as much payoff to what you're reading. You're putting in the work, reading and consuming this media. The payoff to that is that it'll reference each other and build off of one another. It'll make future installments that you read feel more valuable because you've been there for longer, so it matters more to you, right?
Yeah.
But with the new canon, I don't see as much of that like intertwined connectiveness that gives you really exciting payoffs.
And I get why, from a marketing perspective, they want to make their books more appealing to consumers, and as a result,
you can jump in just anywhere with it, right? So
that's exactly right. Yeah. But it doesn't make for a product that I'm interested in consuming, right? So at the end of the day,
I feel like that's also shooting them in the foot at the same time, right? Because people like us don't want to read it if it's not interconnected.
Well,
and their book sales were doing a lot better before they took this approach of like disconnectedness so that you can jump in anywhere. I think the EU was selling better, even though it was like less easy to jump in on a storyline.
I'll tell you what's really telling. I don't actually want you to do this, but for anyone listening at any time, I want you to go and pick up a Marvel Star Wars comic, not the old 77 Marvel Star Wars comic, but anything produced under the aegis of Disney in the past, 8 years since 2014. Go pick up any of them and open it up to the first or second page. You will not find any type of reference as to when that book takes place. You pick up a Dark Horse comic and you open up the first page, and it will tell you, for the most part, this takes place 5,000 years before A New Hope. This takes place 4 weeks before A New Hope. This takes place, 32 years before Episode 4. It anchors it to a point in time, and I think it's really telling that the new comics don't do that because they don't want to tie themselves down to any type of continuity, and it just doesn't appeal to me as a consumer. Again,
pick up a random Dark Horse comic off of my shelf.
Yeah, and open up the first page.
Absolutely right. The first page of each one has this like greenish section,
and it says
exactly the era.
In the era, and then read the smaller paragraph at the bottom of the first page. The events of this whatever take place within.
Yeah, it says the New Jedi Order 25 years after the Battle of Yavin and beyond. As this era began, Luke Skywalker had unified the Jedi Order into a cohesive group of powerful Jedi Knights. It was a time of relative peace, yet darkness approached on the horizon. Now Skywalker's descendants face new and resurgent threats to the galaxy and to the balance of the Force. The events in this story take place approximately 25 years after the Battle of Yavin.
So it tells you a little bit about the era. It anchors it to a point in time. And I see Pig here made a comment in the chat. The current Marvel Star Wars comics are the main thing that are connected at all. And yeah, I agree. They're connected to one another, but they're not anchored to any real point in time. Like, I don't know when the current Dr. Aphra comics are taking place. I know that they're currently taking place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, but I don't know with any real sense whether they're 6 months after Empire Strikes Back or 3 months after Empire Strikes Back, and I think that's something that the Dark Horse comics used to do that I really liked, because I have a reference point in my mind as to when these comics took place. And I just think it's very, I don't want to like ascribe any malicious intent. I just think it's really telling that they don't do that anymore, because they don't want to box themselves in, because we've heard the story group say that it's too difficult to keep track of all these things.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Marcel and I were just talking about that yesterday, weren't we?
Yeah. Like, I talk about this all the time now.
Fans, right?
Yeah, there's a ceiling.
The ceiling is Mandalore and Matt. And Mandalore's more like, I don't want to say gimmicky, but he has more mainstream appeal with his lore videos. Matt's book reviews have some appeal because he talks about literally everything. But it doesn't just come from that, but like, I feel like you have to have multiple content to make it as an EU YouTuber. He has his board games that propels him, and as the board game side grows, he's recommended more in the YouTube algorithm for more Star Wars fans to discover him. Right? And you see these channels like Star Wars Theory, Eckhart's Ladder. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head, but so many of them just make good money, like blow up big. And I don't understand how. They're all just recycling the same content and talking about the same things over and over. The EU fans with these small channels have more original content. Like, you see Chris Nelson pulling things that you've never seen before. Like, how is there such a ceiling? And I think it's partly because Disney tells the fans that the EU's irrelevant. And that's what has created the ceiling.
I would also like to say
that
I don't know that it's Disney per se, but that fans have been trained to tell other fans that the EU is irrelevant, because that's what they're hearing from their corporate overlords.
And the common misconception of it, riddled with plot holes, right? In that it was a service to the fans that it was discontinued, right? Yeah. That it was a train wreck, a monstrosity. Like, where did that come from? But I hear everybody saying it. Everybody heard it from someone.
The amount of articles that came out when Disney decided to Disney Star Wars decided to jettison the EU back in April of 2014, and the amount of articles that came out at that time being like, this is a good thing, believe me, like, this is for the best. And I just remember reading all those articles and just thinking, like, what a gut punch this is. So I think that fans and consumers have been trained to notify other fans and consumers that these don't matter. These stories don't matter. They don't matter. These stories don't matter in the way that Slov doesn't matter.
Oh. Okay, Marcel, I see how it is.
I'm just kidding. Welcome, my friend.
Howdy. Keep going on your rant. Huh?
How's your night been, Slov?
We'll see about that blue pig. Sorry, Slov.
It's fine. I've been procrastinating studying for my final, and this stream didn't help, so I thought I'd hop on and contribute if I could.
I'm sorry, keeping you from your studies.
No, it's a me thing. Oh, by the way,
hey, Alex,
I was gonna say sorry about that thing from earlier that you DM'd me.
Oh yeah, no worries. It's absolutely fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
I got some chocolate pretzels here.
Nice, awesome snack.
Yeah. All right, sorry to derail everything. What were you saying, Marcel?
Oh, Blue Pig asked if I was going to work on Noah's next chronologies, and I said we'll see.
I think Marcel needs someone to take over the reins. That stretched you pretty thin. You were working really hard on it.
Yeah, I think too much work for too little recognition at the end of the day makes for not great working conditions.
Are you gonna do a strike, form a union?
Well, keep going, and you'll see there's a comment to that effect in the.
Wait, okay. So like, are you telling me that thing that Noah mostly worked on, you're jealous that you didn't get more credit for it?
Man. Oh, I mean, Noah did the lion's share of it, but I mean.
No. Noah did everything. That's what he told me, even though I've never met him before.
I don't think it would have.
That's what he says in the beginning of the book. There's an intro that's like, thanks to editors Marcel and Greyholm Winterblade, and then it's like, and thanks to Ken Palpatine for translating it to English, and then it was like, but all remaining credit goes to me, who worked his tail off to put this out there. And
Greyholm and
fair
I
enough,
had
I believe you.
we had so many edits in that document that we had to it was in Google Docs that we were working off of. We had to create 4 new documents because Google Docs said we reached the edit limit.
That's funny.
We because I mean it's you can translate something, but it won't sound like it's English.
It's like the Hungarian Han Solo novels.
Yeah.
If you put that into a translator, it comes out all like gibberish, right?
We had to rewrite it essentially into English. So I mean, I'm not at all minimizing. Noah did like 85 to 90% of it, but like that 10% was it took almost a couple months. So yeah, that
You spent upwards of 30 hours on it, right?
Yeah, I would say I personally, and I think Greyholm the same. We probably both put, I don't know, like over 60 hours each into it. So,
wow.
Slov was so offended that he left. And yeah, the Google Doc was so unstable, and the reason why is because there were just too many edits. Once we got rid of all the edits and accepted all the comments, it ran much smoother. But that was, near the end of the project. So I don't know that I would readily volunteer to do something like that again for nothing in return.
Maybe some money this time, or
Well, no, I don't. Well, I'm not saying
or a
that.
copy
I'm
of
just
a rare
saying,
using.
Maybe a partial writer's credit or something like that. If it were something else, not saying like Noah's chronology.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like expected.
Absolutely understandable. And only good games comment here. Absolutely. I've not watched Star Wars Theory since 2019. I liked the guy back in the day, but he's quite a Disney guy, isn't he? Quite a Disney guy, and
Well, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but
yeah,
Dave and John are going to save us. They're gonna save us, dude. Don't you realize it?
Oh, Dave and Filoni and John Favreau. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had heard that.
Yeah, John Favreau and Dave Filoni. Yeah, they're the saviors of Star Wars. Lost Tribe of the Sith Savior was actually, which I just read. So that's why it's on my mind. This doesn't make sense, but Lost Tribe of the Sith Savior was about Favreau and Filoni. Clearly.
He says something. What?
Oh, he's saying that when Blue Pig called him a boy, he said he's a man. Good job, Alex. You're all grown up. Sorry, what were you saying, Slov?
Oh, there was a trailer for the Bad Batch season 2, and what happened is that we see this giant creature like destroying something for like a second of a shot, and then Star Wars Theory went. He thought it was the Zillo Beast, and I was like, dude, what? What?
I think he's just trying to deflect from his like bricks and I don't know screws comment or whatever the hell he made about Andor.
He actually handled that very well. He actually turned it into a meme, and he actually put bricks and screws on a hoodie, and he's selling those on hats and hoodies. So
I mean, you have to own the narrative, or else it's just going to dominate you, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, Marcel was saying something really good.
Probably when I was on a rant about continuity.
Yeah, you were nailing every single thing that I was thinking, except you said it more exquisitely.
I don't know about that.
Articulated it better, perhaps.
Hey, did you tell your audience in a YouTube channel that whenever you look up EU bookshelves, that your bookshelf is there? It's on like one of the main things on Google Images.
I did not say that yet. I'll share that. Slov made me aware of this. Thank you, Slov. I was gonna use it for like my 200th video, which is in like 5 videos, but
Yeah, thanks, Slov, for ruining his surprise.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, I can't do anything right.
Let's see if it does it on my screen. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that though, so I'd been saving it, but then I'd forgotten what I was gonna use it for. Let's see. It'll be funny if it doesn't show up now.
That's on Wikipedia fandom.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't. What did you type again? I don't remember.
I just typed in
Type
Star
Star
Wars
Wars
EU
EU.
collections. So I'll send
That's
it
what it
to
was,
you.
not bookshelf. My bad. I'm an idiot. All right.
I put you a
Yeah,
link.
there it is. So. Sorry, excuse me. I'll open that. Where is that? And share it. Sorry, I'm not good with technology.
You'll eventually play Force Unleashed on easy, right? Or on medium.
On a level up from easy. So, Slov made me aware of this. He searched Star Wars EU collections and then saw my on Google Images. One of the top images is my bookshelves, which is
That's
super
really
cool. That's on Google Images now. That's like it's official. I've made it. I'm a big shot now. Do you see Matt Wilkins shelves on Google when you search Star Wars EU collection? I don't think so.
Dude, you're moving on
I
up
didn't mean to
like George Jefferson.
I didn't mean to go after Matt there. Why is Lance? I'm very confused by all that.
I have no clue. I think he was just trying to generate some talking points and controversy.
What happened?
Oh, Lance said he declared
He's
war.
waging war against Matt Wilkins.
Oh, yeah, that's like a Lance thing, so that's cringe.
Yeah, I'd already talked about this comment earlier, but I said like, yeah, they're connected, but they're not really anchored to any point in time.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Luke Skywalker, last hope for the galaxy. Let me look that up.
Wait, go back to that last. Oh yeah, Blue Pig, most definitely.
Nice.
Better working conditions.
You and Gray Homer start a hashtag on Twitter.
Yeah.
Look at this comment from Alex. Marcel's voice is so soothing. How does your wife even argue with you?
You'd be surprised.
Blue Pig said, "For real."
You'd be surprised.
So is last
Alex or
I was going to say is Last Hope of the Galaxy? That's a comic from Dark Horse. I've not even heard of this book. Is that in something or?
I think it's a collection, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna look it up now. Yeah, it's a collection of Star Wars comics that Luke Skywalker appeared in. I don't think anything's original to it. I think it's just a collection of some harder to find stuff. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, okay. So it has like Star Wars 1977, 60 through 63, 95 through 97, Dark Empire 1 through 6, stuff like that. Okay.
That's cool.
Nice.
I didn't even know that existed.
But it's like a leather-bound hardback with a slipcover, so that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a really classy looking volume. Oh, but what Only Good Game said here, yeah, as long as the EU has fans who are younger, like there's like 5 or 6 of us that I know of who are EU fans only and teenagers. That's a good thing, right? As long as it stays in the hearts of the young, it'll stay around, right? It just needs to keep going for the next generations of EU fans, that they get introduced to it at a younger age. Like I bought my 6-year-old cousin Heir to the Empire that his dad's going to read to him, and I got my other cousin a Star Wars book as well that she's been reading and enjoying. So like, as long as younger people are getting into the EU and enjoying it, it's never going to die, right? Legends live forever. Legends never die. So well, I'm flattered, Alex. Not sure about that. My luscious locks. Goodness gracious, When I
Tied
cut my hair
behind you.
next year, people are gonna be upset. Apparently, there you go.
Look at that.
Blushes right now.
Bro got that Qui-Gon Jinn hair.
Huh. Um. Yeah, and Marcel's done reading for a lot of those obscure short stories. So
Yeah, Brennan and I have been working together, I would say, to make sure we don't miss
Absolutely.
anything. Yeah.
absolutely. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I was in a panic when I found I'd missed something, and the first thing I did was message Marcel like, "Oh no, we missed something," and then the next day he gave me a heart attack because he said there's this Dawn of the Jedi short story called Dark Matters, and I was like, "Oh no," and I looked it up, and luckily it was a segment from the novel Into the Void that they'd put an insider with the title, so like I was like, "Whoa." I thought we'd missed something else. So we're making sure to comb over everything. And he found something a couple days ago called the Massassi War, which was a codex I never heard of.
Yeah.
I just recorded the review for it a couple hours ago. It's a really good codex entry.
Well, it's new expanded universe lore, right? It talks about how
Absolutely.
Nagasadao conquers or puts down a Massassi uprising. So that's something we didn't know before. And there's dialogue in it, so it's a legitimate short story.
Absolutely. Yeah, like it's a good thing for Marcel to be reading some of these because it shines a light on stuff that would be forgotten or passed over, right?
Yeah.
Because all of the EU needs to be, loved and remembered, in my opinion. So.
And recorded, so it exists in some form for all time.
Absolutely, for all time, always. What's that? Oh, TVA reference.
Only good games. You will get there too eventually.
I'm not sure if that was directed at Alex or me, but we appreciate it, regardless of who you're talking about there. But yeah, I've been reading for four and a half some years of EU reading, and in a year even, like, you still are so new to it, right? Like, there's still stuff I haven't read. I feel like the majority of us won't read it all, so I want to like read all of it, but it takes time, but you've already read a lot. Your introduction, you've read most of the novels, many of the comics, you've read pretty much all of post Return of the Jedi except New Jedi Order. Like, you've got a lot of lore under your belt.
I think he was talking about when I was ranting about how long the chronology took me to edit me and Greyholm. I started watching. Yeah, I started watching it. I'm about half an hour in, but it's 2.5 hours, so it's pretty long.
Yeah, the title had me laughing. Was it sold me my own pancreas or something? Kenobi ripped out my pancreas and sold it back to me. Was that the title?
Yeah, something like that. When I was in the hospital, it came and ripped out my pancreas.
That's great. I just got a message from Liam. He's recording a new EU video.
That's great.
That's cool. Still in school currently. Still in school until the 18th or 20th. I have a shorter break, but I have until the 5th of January. So, gonna record some EU stuff over the break. Catch up on some sleep. It'll be great.
Have you seen pictures of Granny Toes's EU shelf? Because it's beautiful.
I saw some pictures of it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I may have seen. Is it the one that has like all hardbacks and then has below it the children's novels?
Let me see if I can share screen.
It's like 2 big shelves, I think, and there's game boxes on it as well.
Yeah, because I was talking with Granny for the first time last night. He's a cool dude.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
He's got a really great server that I'm gonna plug on Discord called F Canon, and we have all these plans to get the EU together. So there's like plan A, B, C, D, and this is basically plan F. and it's the fan fiction canon, and it's a concerted effort to create a new universe that's coherent and connects to the EU, that's written by multiple authors that all connect, right? So it's trying to be an initiative to take over from Granny's pictures are a ways back on the thing, so I can't find the shelves right now. But it's a great project, a great movement. So people should join or look out for some of that.
Yeah.
coming out.
I feel like I'm one of those two people, so I don't know.
Yeah. Legends never die. Oh no, Matt.
Oh man.
That's so sad. Let me send this link to you over email, just in case you want to pop in. I don't know if you're still here. I appreciate you.
Hey Matt, you should join the stream or you're not cool.
And speaking of which, if you're still listening, Matt, I know in a stream a couple weeks ago you mentioned that you were gonna message the people behind a certain mega link that may or may not exist. And you were mentioning that you were wondering what could be put on there, and you mentioned some stuff. Well, Slov has a list of stuff that he'd like to go on there that I'm gonna send your way. So, because you mentioned what else should be on there, and you said missions is what you thought should be on there. So I wasn't sure if you could get some of that stuff on there. So I was just gonna send you it in case you had the opportunity to get that on there. If it exists, it might not exist.
I was gonna say, Matt, they may not be the most popular books in the EU, but they are also books that are the hardest to find in hardback. And some of us here would appreciate having those for not paying, $400. That's the only reason I asked they'd be there.
Hey, Jay. Wow.
J-Hop on too.
That's definitely the case.
Alex is getting shredded and Jay's ego is slowly rising. Just what I like to see. Poor Alex. Everyone's getting along well. That's good to see. All 3 Thrawn book hardcovers and Mint Tales collection by Kevin J. Anderson hardcover.
Oh, wow.
Section. That's quite the haul.
I just got what is it? The Kevin J. Anderson Jedi Academy trilogy recently in hardcover.
Yeah, the science fiction book club run, right?
I don't know who did it. I think it's Bantam.
Yeah, well, I don't think Bantam ever put out a Jedi Academy trilogy hardcover. I think it was the SFBC one.
It's not the black one. It's the blue one.
Okay.
But yeah, like get that stuff in as soon as you can, because EU fans we're beginning to get more and more of them, and they're buying up stuff on eBay, and stuff's getting more expensive.
Yeah. Oh, look, Matt and I have the same problem. My son won't sleep either, so. Indeed,
Marcel did indeed. That's absolutely amazing.
Marcel
is a very, very. Marcel is an extremely generous person.
I sent Slov one too.
Sent me
it's lost in the mail.
Bruh.
Sorry, Brennan.
Marcel sent me a Galaxy of Fear book. He got Liam a video game. He sent Alex or Matt a board game. Very generous guy.
I was telling Brennan about it earlier.
All that to say, don't go up to Marcel now and ask him for stuff.
I mean, you can.
It's his generosity.
It doesn't mean that I'm going to give you anything.
Don't exploit it.
Hey, Marcel, I still want that action figure I told you about yesterday.
Yeah, I know which one.
This is a great progression of comments. Marcel sent me a Christmas present, Xmas present, and Alex says, "I'm so sorry." I assume he was talking about something else, but Matt took that as that it was a Sheev statue.
Yeah. No, I would only send that to Alex.
Alex is praying for Matt and his kids, and Matt says that he takes back the love life joke, but not the sheep joke. The sheep joke stays. Now, here's what I think. The time has come and the time is gone for poor Alex to be ridiculed about this sheep stuff. Did I partake in the jokes? Absolutely I did. But Alex has evolved as a channel. He's no longer about that. Now he's about book violence. You should only remember the book violence. We don't need to remember any of that old stuff. That was the old Alex. Alex has moved on from naked Palpatine, and he's on brighter things now, right?
Hey, aren't you the book thrower?
Exactly. It's his most infamous act.
Oh, by the way, Brendan, mention to Matt that, or you might want to do that like over email. It was about the thing for the website.
Gotcha. Yeah. Absolutely. I will bring that up to him. Yes, Liam is working on a new video. No time for school, must read Star Wars. I have read plenty of Star Wars during school hours, but don't tell anyone.
Brendan's too cool for school. Confirmed.
No, I care. I care too much.
Yeah, Granny posted a picture of his shelf in your Discord.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Hey, Granny, you're still the dude I talked to yesterday, right? Like, I want to make sure that's not like another guy. put one in the comment section if it's you.
Put one in the comment section if it's you.
Oh man, Grant, do you play the guitar in this photo? It is a beautiful photo, by the way. Let me open.
I love the Dark Forces box.
It is absolutely incredible. Yeah, those game boxes are great. Let me share this. Thanks for resending that through. Let's see.
Yo, Brendan, Matt, he wants a link to the stream.
I sent it to you via email, Matt. But I'm gonna have to hop off in like 15 minutes.
That's based.
Isn't
that's a beautiful bookshelf right there.
Like that Obi-Wan figure.
I love the Young Jedi Knight compendiums.
Well, now that you said that you liked it, now I don't like it. What do you think about that, Marcel?
What am I, Lance? Stop treating me that way.
All the video games nicely in chronological order. This Old Republic omnibuses, I have it up there. It's fantastic. I love the PC Knights of the Old Republic stuff.
I want that more.
I see the the Journal of Master Nostral in there. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm pointing with my fingers, forgetting I have a cursor that you can see to point. So that's just me being an idiot. Part of the Jedi. Nice.
Jedi, yeah.
I recently discovered I could have bounded my book in a different, more accurate style to the Bantam covers, and I was like, "Oh, I got it."
I'm sorry. I tried to help you, but
go back to the middle shelf for a second, right where you were. Yeah, look at that. He did Paradise Snare, Hut Gambit, and then he has the Brian Daly and Lando stories in between, and then Rebel Dawn, as is intended.
Indeed.
Based.
Yeah. That's how I have it in my chronological list too. Look, he has the original Crimson Empire hardcover collection. That's great.
Yeah.
Movies up here.
Yo, nice. Granny.
Great set there.
Granny, do you got the Harmy Special Edition for the movies?
Granny, is that Pepsi Nitro in there, or is that something else? That looks like a Pepsi Nitro can. For those of you who don't know, I collect soda cans. Those are all soda cans, empty soda cans. So
I bet that shows up on a Google search as well.
I don't know about that. But yeah, this is absolutely incredible. beautiful shelves. He's
We
even
got
got
some
the
Hand of Thrawn stuff.
sword, the Hand of Thrawn books printed out. Absolutely lovely. But got a question for you. Answer it in the chat, Granny. It feels weird calling you Granny for some reason, but that's the only name we know you by. So if the EU continued and they released something contradictory of Hand of Thrawn, what would you do with all of those prints? Would you keep them on or what?
I think Matt's still looking for the link, by the way.
Still looking for the link.
Matt, I sent it to your email. You want me to send it again?
I think you should probably send it again.
I'll try. You know my email, Matt. I'm not gonna say it on stream, but I think you know it, right? It has to do with Star Wars themed email. I mean, I'll just say it. You'd get the email from JediVoss@iCloud.com. That's what you're looking for. Now I'm gonna get a bunch of emails from people. Maybe not. People don't care about me that much. Yeah, the comics are great. Some people seem to skim over them.
Start with Tales of the Jedi, only good games.
That's good stuff.
As opposed to what? Book burning, Alex?
That's what Noah's going to be remembered for.
Oh, geez.
Hey, Matt. It is in email. Hopefully, we would be honored if you would join us. Do you know the other?
You just did a Star Wars theory reference, not a true EU fan.
This comment is, do you know other Granny Toes? Is in response to Slov saying,
yeah.
Was that you last night?
Yeah, so I went and double checked the account. I was like, okay, yeah, that's him. That's a good point.
Oh no, Alex, join. I can push it. I can push it a little bit. I'm not driving tonight. Is this a new comment or am I still behind?
It's a new one.
Matt, you need to get on Discord, bro.
Yeah. Pepsi Nitro is top tier.
I don't think I've ever had Pepsi Nitro.
Okay, so what it is it's a non-alcoholic. Do you know what it is, Marcel?
No, tell me.
Okay, so just a second. Let me grab some cans. Oh wait, they're on my top shelf. I would knock. You'd hear a terrific crash. Pepsi Nitro comes in a regular cola and a vanilla flavor. They come in 16-ounce cans only, and they are sold in the United States permanently currently. But there was a rumor it could be getting discontinued in the future. So essentially what it is it's been pumped with air to where when you open it, it's going to foam a lot. But you can't drink it from the can or you won't get the effect. So you have to have a pint glass. You dump it into the pint glass, and it has like this much foam at the top.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like cola, but it's got that beer foaming like a beer, like a draft beer.
That's awesome.
So it's a draft cola. It's non-alcoholic. It doesn't say carbonated for long, but the foam is so sweet. It's lovely. You'd put them on another shelf. Nice. Thanks, Alex. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Slav, have you ever seen Home Alone?
Yes.
Yeah. Easy on the Pepsi.
Yeah.
That's great. Only good games. Keep reading Tales of the Jedi. I love Crimson Dawn. I thought you said Crimson Empire for a second. Crimson Dawn might be like.
What's Crimson Dawn?
Crimson Dawn's a reference to the new canon, I think, but he might mean Crimson Empire.
What I was gonna do, speaking of the comics and the books, me and Titus were gonna do a read through of the entire Clone Wars era.
Yeah, do it.
Of everything. It's gonna be fun.
No, you guys should do that on a stream, so that everyone can do it.
Yeah, so we may have like a book, just like a book study like that, like where we all like come back and we talk about it. That'd be cool because I want to read Approaching Storm so badly because I've heard of how terrible it is. I feel like that'll be a lot of fun.
When was it Luminara who was really worried about Barra Sophie going out alone? Thought she tripped on a rock, something.
And fall in a
Don't
hole.
remember. Fall in a hole, something like that. I read that in 2019. It's been a while. I really need to reread it again.
Master Kenobi, it would be terrible if our Padawans fell in a hole. And she, like, Obi-Wan just looks at her like, bro, what?
That's why Varys became a terrorist.
Exactly. Got a terrible master. Gets bodied by Ventress.
Yeah,
Greyhound
book club
in the
would be
house.
awesome.
Yo, guys, I think Matt gave up. I don't think he's looking for the link.
If Matt's not here by 11:25, I'll be ending the stream. Because
You hear that, Matt? You have 2 minutes.
if you come on by then, I'll stay up for another 20 minutes. Doesn't really affect Slov. You've got your cool central time zone, right?
Slov doesn't
That
sleep.
Central.
Yeah, I don't sleep.
He just roosts.
Yeah.
Like a
Yes,
bird.
it's stunted my growth, but like I got my looks to make up for it.
No, I'm kidding. Picture a young Chris Nelson. That's Slav.
I like to say a young Daryl Hall.
Hello, Matt. Thanks for joining
I only
us.
have 1 minute left.
I'll push it back a
I
little
was
later.
trying to, but I had so many things going on. My wife was talking to me, and y'all were talking to me on the stream. She went, "Are you live?" I said, "No, I'm not live. They're talking about a comment I made." So anyway, yeah, I decided to get on here, say hello to everyone. I'm not going to keep you late. We can only go 10 minutes if you want. That's totally fine too, because I've got stuff to do, like sleep.
Yeah, that's what.
Where did Slav go?
It was not me. I did not kick him off.
No, I don't have powers to kick him off. Although I would have if I did. So
He was very offended. Well, this is what happens when you send stuff to me, folks. When you send gifts to me, I hop on your stream. These two guys sent me gifts. What have you guys done lately? I mean, I'm kidding.
Slav's mic disconnected. I'll be back.
This is unintentionally festive, but this is the 12 days of Checksmas right here.
Very nice.
No, it's just trash. It's the back of the big box. I'm going to throw it away. But it looks holiday funny. And there's a pizza box up there, too, because guess what we had tonight?
Oh, that's what we watching
watching
as well.
The Santa Claus 2. And tomorrow will be 3.
And the third is the one with Jack Frost, right?
Yes, and then we're going to watch the TV show that just came out on Disney.
The one that has like Peyton Manning in it.
I don't know. Spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
I don't care. Yeah, we're going to watch that one next. I thought it's better than watching Willow. I'm just kidding. I've never watched. Has anyone seen the Willow?
No, I watched the original movie.
I've seen the trailers.
I didn't even know it'd come out, but then
I'm
someone
scared
said hi,
about
and they
it.
said it sucked, and so I was like, well, I'll try and see how bad it sucks. But the thing is, though, I have no desire to rush to see it, so it may be till next year. Anyway,
I'm just really nervous about it. You know.
Now, I was in and out of the conversation, but Slav, you were talking about something was hard to get in hardback, and I'm sorry. Like I said, I was talking to my wife.
Oh, it's cool. So yeah, there's like 4 books, or maybe a little bit more, but it's all the Clone Wars tie-in novels, like TCW. All those hardbacks are extremely expensive, and The Last Jedi and Shadow Games. All those were only released.
Those they were just exclusive science fiction book club, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, those types. And the only reason I have them is because I was a member of the science fiction book club back then, and I bought everything.
That's cool. That was a subscription service. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was a subscription service. You got like 4 for $1 or 5 for $1, and then you had to buy like 3 at regular price. But it was just such a great deal. I kept signing up a million times and quitting and signing up again. Those are back in the good old days, man. But I would save up until Matt would do Do you ever do a video showing every book you have one day? I did a tour. I did one a long time ago.
It was like, was that six years ago, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I did a tour of everything. I mean, I guess. Well, no, I did another. Well, hold on. I did the tour. It was for a Twin Sons fundraiser, and then we released it publicly. Well, it's for people who backed the Twin Sons fundraiser. But then, like 3 months afterwards, or whatever it was, we released it publicly. And I mean, nothing much has changed. I mean, a few things have changed, but you're going to see some changes come Wednesday. I'll show you some new additions to the book.
The world is changing.
The whole world is changing. I mean, it could be worse. It could be Alex having to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, could be.
Alex, you got work. Alex. So,
Yes.
No joke. Your room is ready. I don't know when you're coming, but your room's ready. It's upstairs, across the hallway from the girls. So if they need water or something, or get scared, they can go bother you instead of me. I also need you to climb up on my roof because it's a little too steep, and I just realized something. I'm getting old. So my neighbor is in his 60s, and I mean, like, tough 60s, dude's probably, he recently retired, keep on trucking. And he's got a small 1-story, little 2-bedroom house. It's right next to us. And he got up on the roof, blowing off his leaves, like, look at you. And he was laughing about it. I was like, dude, you know what? And I have a 2-story house, and it's really a steep incline. And I was like, you know what though? My nephew got up there when we first came here, because I was blowing leaves off, and he brought his blower. I said, well, I already got one. I said, well, look, go up on the roof and blow that off, and I'll blow it off here. And so he did. Well, I thought, well, you know what? It's a little steep, but I can do that. So I got up on the roof, and I went around the back. I said, well, look, I'll go up on here. So I climbed up, got up, and I was like, okay, I got this. Started walking up the roof, slipped, fell, and slid almost all the way down. I mean, it was like, Cloud City Bespin Tunnel scary, I was about to fall. I was calling for Leia hanging upside down from the gutter. Just about. So, I mean, but I was like, she was like, whoa, stop. And I stopped right at the edge. I'm not kidding you. I stopped right at the edge, just going, oh my gosh. Now, of course, the heaviness of the blower was, and then leaves on the house already was shooting me down faster. I was like, this is dangerous. I could have fallen off. And so I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to get back on the ladder, and I'm just going to crawl down because it's not going to work because it's just too steep for me. And I don't want to break my neck. And I'll let my nephews do that, or Alex,
Yeah, I don't mind almost breaking my neck.
I put a foot down on the ladder, and it had rained. And I should have realized this, but the ground was really mushy, and it just stuck in there, and it started to teeter. So I jumped back on the roof, but when I jumped, I kicked it back off, and it just fell over. Well, now I'm stuck on my roof. And I'm like, I'm not gonna call out to he can't see me because the roof is really steep, but I could crawl up to the, like army crawl up to the top and call for help, but I'm not gonna call for help from a 60-year-old man. No way. And I was like, okay. So I called my wife. I said, when are you coming home? She went, not for a while. Why? I went, no reason. Just see you later. And so then I'm just sitting there trying to build up the courage to jump. When I was 10, 11, 12, we used to jump off our house roof for fun as kids. We used to pretend we were Superman or Spider-Man, strike a pose, and jump off the roof. No trampoline. You just jump, hit the ground, tuck and roll. Brennan knows those days. He probably still does it. But the thing is, when you get older, suddenly it goes from being fun to now being scary. And all it is what? An 8-foot, 8 feet, 10 feet drop? That's all it is. But it feels like it's miles up in the air. And so you have to sit there and get the courage to jump. And I'm going, come on, just jump. And when you finally push off that roof, it's like a whole half second of terror, like you're going to die. And then, boom, you hit the ground and you're okay. Well, you check yourself, but then you're okay. So I've still got
part is sort of
No, go
The
ahead.
jump part is sort of like when you're trying to get off of whatever you're jumping off of. There's a split second of like trying to hold on to it almost.
I mean, I
the mind
thought I'll
wants to
never
stay
get to
up
play
there.
the game that Marcel gave me. I'll never get to, drink another Crystal Pepsi again. I'll never get to hear Alex's voice. Well, I mean, it wasn't all bad thoughts, I guess, going through my head, but
Wow. Oh my goodness.
but no, I was like,
I mean,
can't
bend the
do
knees,
this.
you'll
I'm
be all
trying
right.
to get my nephews to come over here, but I think the earliest they can come over is next week because they're busy with something called school. I don't get it.
School.
that?
What's that?
Pushing pine straw and leaves off my roof is more important than an education. Get out of here.
Totally.
Graham says he's not seen the original Willow, and that's interesting because Joe Bongiorno's Supernatural Encounters will, from what I've heard, have some references to Willow in it, is what I've been hearing. So you might
Hey,
want to get
Matt.
around to watch that. But something I was thinking about with the show is, do you think the show will contradict anything that Joe puts down?
Probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's just gonna harp onto the movie, and maybe the awful. No, he is gonna harp off the awful. Joe believes in a Lucasfilm. Everything's tied into anything created by Lucasfilm. It all ties into one universe. I get it, but and his argument is, why can't Willow exist in the Star Wars universe? Why can't it just be a planet out of many planets that isn't involved in the Empire? Or how many times have they come across a planet that doesn't care about either side in the Outer Rim and wild space or whatnot? And that's true. It could be that. I mean, then you could equivalent every planet of everywhere to be part of the expanded. I mean, to be part of Star Wars. But I told him the problem that I have with that is that Chris Claremont's books are so awful. That's the worst trilogy in the world. I hate it. I threw it away. Those books are worth a lot now, but no one wanted them. I tried to trade them off and sell them off, and no one wanted them. I was like, okay, I just chucked them because they're terrible. They're terrible books. Chris Claremont can't. He's overrated. He's overrated as a writer. He wrote for X-Men back in the 90s, and he sucked back then, but people just didn't notice because they loved X-Men. But I bet it contradicts those Chris Claremont books, because Willow is about the age, or maybe a little bit younger, than he goes by Thorn now. Why? Because I think Chris Claremont just wrote a story about a character named Thorn and said, "Hey, Lucas, can I put this as a Willow story?" He's like, "Sure." So he wrote a 2-page preface where Willow wants to be called Thorn now. That's
Wow.
really all it is. So then he goes by Thorn. I think it's just lazy. I think he just wrote his own little fantasy adventure and sold it to George as a Willow sequel, which it wasn't. I don't know. You have to ask Chris Nelson about that. He knows more about it than I do.
Hey, Matt, I had a
Yes.
question for you.
Sure, doctors.
So
I'm glad you asked.
With the all Supernatural Encounters, you've read all of it, right? All 1,000 pages.
I've read the draft. Haven't read the new edition.
Okay, what's the difference between the new edition, like
Well,
time-wise?
there's about, to my understanding, there's about 200 to 400 pages.
Okay.
When I read it, it was completed as is. He wanted to expand a little bit more, but just what he had written is what he gave me. This is a long time ago, and he's added more. I know some of the stuff he's added. We did on the expandeduniverse.com for about 2 months. I want to say it was September, October, I think.
Yep.
We did a big event where I gave everyone the heads up list. I mean, if you want to read it to prep for Supernatural Encounters, or if you just want to go to Wikipedia and get, or Wikipedia or whatever, and get the cliff notes, that's fine too. But I just gave everyone a heads up of what's coming out. There's some other things I've heard, some rumors and stuff of what's going to be in it. I do know that he does an amazing job tying in things like the Ewoks cartoon, which is brilliant, because that was in the draft, and it was when I read the explanation, because the Ewoks cartoon, if no one has seen it, that's fine. It probably sucks now.
I've seen it. I've seen it in full 4 times, Matt.
Oh wow, okay,
I
good.
love the Ewoks cartoon.
Oh, awesome, because I do too. But it has
I think George is better.
the Ewoks comic books and the cartoon back in the day, they had the Crying Mountain, they had the I saw someone said top 10 dumb things about the EU. The Crying Mountain. Oh, really? You had to go all the way to pick a kid's comic book from the 80s, from an Ewoks cartoon that was done for children, to find something silly
Mount
about
Sorrow
the
appears
EU.
and he appears in like 5 panels. It's like barely a couple pages.
Yeah, but the thing is, they were just trying to reach and find something stupid about the EU. But the thing is, though, Joe's explanation of what we're watching as we're watching the cartoon is pretty brilliant. I'll give everyone this one. We'll give you one. What you're watching is it's from the eyes of the Ewoks. It's stories from the eyes. Obviously, they're talking basic, right? They wouldn't be talking basic. So it's basically we're watching the story based through them and how they see things. They see things as magical and weird, the unexplained. They just make up a story about it. You know, for instance, Marcel, who are those indigenous people in the Amazons who haven't had any contact from the outside world? You know what I'm talking about?
Like pygmies or something like
that?
that?
Yeah. And we're not supposed to be, they don't establish contact with them. In fact, there's one man, his tribe had died of some poison. He was like the last of his tribe, and he finally died. The last of a tribe who never touched real civilization. Anyway, what do you think they see when they see an airplane flying over?
Yeah.
They don't know what an airplane is.
Right.
You think they see a giant bird that is very loud and their imagination takes over? That's exactly how Ewoks see their world. There could be an explanation for all these things that we're seeing that look kind of silly to us, but that's the best that the Ewoks can explain what they're looking at.
For school, I read
and he gives some great examples of it too in the book. So I mean,
okay,
what you're and by the way, you're not reading an adventure story. You're reading, imagine if you're reading something like the Silmarillion. In fact, he loves my quote that I gave him. I said, this is the Silmarillion of Star Wars. It's basically a dictation of history by a familiar character from the expanded universe. I mean, familiar if you know West End Games. A historian.
Voron now? Or is it?
Well, he's from all the West End Games. He's the one that does all the interviews of Han, Luke, and Leia during the West End Games, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. Alex Hooterdale,
source books,
whatever his name is. But yeah, Hextrabald. Yeah, he's in the radio dramatization of I believe the originals too. I think he's mentioned in it, or he's a side character in it. Anyway, so it's him going out into the universe and basically telling you his findings is what it is. And it's brilliant in a way, but it's mainly like you're reading some like a textbook of the expanded universe. And it's like I said, it's really thick. You're not going to sit there and read it all in 1 week or whatever. And you're constantly going to be, if you're me, I was constantly like every other page looking at Wikipedia going, what is that? What is he mentioning here? What is this? Oh, okay, that's to this. Because I mean, he goes out of his way to make so many tie-ins, and this was stuff before he started tidying it up. This is his rough draft. This is the draft that he was supposed to be on, StarWars.com publishing. It was going to be some deep EU connections. I mean, we're talking like Jason Fry Guide to Warfare, but on a scale of 11.
Wow.
If you don't know, I love Jason Fry's Guide to Warfare. It ties in a lot of good stuff. But these guys are really, Joe's really smart. Rich Handley's really smart. This is what they do.
There's going to be a lot of great artwork in it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I have 2 comments about supernatural encounters from talking with Joe. Joe said that he talked with, because Arhul Hextrafon actually appeared briefly in one of the original trilogy movies as a background character. And he had talked with the actor who played him, and the actor was interested in voicing him for like a feature audio drama of supernatural encounters.
That is true.
Which is pretty cool. And he also mentioned to me about a character named Darth Hazan. Instead of screen sharing right now, because I don't feel like that. I will look it up.
There's some more surprise guests that may be helping out with that audiobook.
So I had a question while he's looking that up. Matt, this is probably going to make you go on a rant. It may not. I don't know. But Are there some things in this that you?
If Alex wants to love hot, naked, wet, young clone Sheev, that's his business.
Oh my god.
I've gotten over that now, Slav. But go ahead.
Okay.
I'm the book thrower now.
I was gonna ask, is there anything in Supernatural Encounters that you aren't happy with Joe about, or is that something you even want to voice?
Okay, no, that's a fair question. When I read it, he asked for my thoughts. This is years ago, and there was something I did not like. I thought was out of character, because he's debating with a bunch of other professors. I'll go ahead and say it because he said he corrected it. One of the professors is Professor Hoole. Now he likes Professor Hoole because he's part of the illustrated Star Wars universe, right? He was doing the same thing that is going on in this book. Of course, I love Hoole for that reason too, as well as Galaxy of Fear. In Galaxy of Fear,
yep, Galaxy of Fear.
Yeah, in Galaxy of Fear, we get a good characterization of who Hoole is. And in Joe's work at the time, he said he's corrected it. Hoole is just angry and raising his voice and arguing that can't be true, and all the studies we've seen, and I mean, just getting just angry and yelling. And I said, Hoole would never do that. Hoole is always calm. And by the way, he's with other professors too. So why would he blow up at someone? He's been under stressful situations, i.e. Galaxy of Fear, and he's never gotten angry. Yeah. He's calm. He's determined. Maybe he goes steely quiet, but he doesn't yell. He doesn't become, and I said, you're writing him like he's becoming unhinged. I said, if you need a character, I mean, sometimes you just need a character to be the blowhard. I get that, but don't make it Hoole. I said, Hoole's been, and then he said, you know what? I agree with you, and change the tone of Professor Hoole.
Okay.
I also
Good
heard
call, Matt.
Say what?
Oh, I said good call.
Oh yeah. That was probably the only thing that I had a problem with. Now, of course, I hate that he wants to tie in all the canon, but I hate that he wants to tie in all the other Lucasfilm stuff. I mean, E.T., yes, the Green Planet book is technically part of the right because E.T.'s written episode 1.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I can, and then of course he says, of course, the joke now that E.T. in the movie E.T. when he recognizes Yoda and says home. So yeah, he's from Star Wars. I get it. It's both two jokes, but he uses that to kind of tie it in. I would not tie in all those, but it's Joe's work. It's Joe's book, so he can go for it. Darth Holmes.
I've pulled this up. As you can see here, it says non-canon right now because Darth Holmes was a scrapped character from Jedi Yoda, which is a comic issue published where Yoda confronts an old friend on a planet and a young Jedi dies in this comic book, and Yoda kind of contemplates things. I don't know how a Sith was ever going to be a part of this comic issue. It doesn't seem like it could have ever been a part of it. But this was a Sith named Darth Holmes who was supposed to appear in this TCW era comic issue, but was cut. And we only got concept art here on Wikipedia, and he was never canon because he never appeared in anything officially EU. I asked Joe if there was any chance we'd be getting Darth Holmes, and he told me that Darth Holmes is in there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, now here's the thing. Yeah, because Joe takes... You got to understand, these people like Joe and Ryder Wenham and Rich Hanley and a bunch of others, they took the time, they did their homework. They know continuity better than anyone. They know all the deleted stuff, the stuff that fell from the ground. That's why you see so many of these writers later on, they wanted to incorporate all the Marvel comic books, the old Marvel comic books, because that's what they grew up reading as kids. Okay? So people like... Troy Denning, Matthew Stover, right? Shaz of Minor and stuff. I mean, you could tell. And then more people just started jumping into it and tying in more of the book. Jason Fry was a fan of comic books. But they knew them. They knew how to, they had their idea of how to make it a serious topic. Like Luke in Shaz of Minor talks about how Black Hole, what used to be his name, he's going under an alias to kind of hide, but he was always very theatrical. He used a hologram that showed the galaxy inside of himself, and he never did basically he took the shadow spawn, the black hole character, which was kind of very dated, but then gave him an explanation for why he was like that. He's a very theatrical person. This is stuff he already naming his MO, and boom, suddenly it's locked. It's locked in there. So there's a lot of that in there, and there's a lot of let's take this character and let's dust it off and let's make them serious. And I love that type of stuff. You're going to see the Ewok movies. You're going to see. Just check out the website. We have all the things, but there's so many more connections in there that you may not know, and it will be. I swear to you, in the whatever 400-600 pages I had. Every other page, I was on Wikipedia because I was like, all right, that's got to be someone too. I don't know. I mean, there was just a lot of deep stuff in there from all sorts of random sources. And Joe spent.
Matt,
go ahead.
Do you know if this suddenly struck me? I've been meaning to ask you this for a while. Or Joe, do you know if they complete the Sith lineage in Supernatural Encounters from like Bane's apprentices down through to Tenebris?
I don't know if there'll be a full count. You mean all the way up to Darth? Goodness gracious, Tenebris. No, before that, Darth.
Tenebris.
The earliest Sith. Cyan. Who was it? Can't think of the name right now. But I think you may get a brief Sith history. I don't know if it'll be completed. I know everyone would love to see that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I meant like Bane to Zana to Cognos. To Cognos's apprentice was Millennial, and then down through there was an unnamed Twi'lek Sith in there.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much of that he's going to put in. I know there is some Sith stuff in there. Like I said, in my copy, I don't think, and that's the same copy. Doesn't he still have that out on his website, or did he get rid of it? The old draft.
I think it's still up there, the original draft.
I think it's still up.
It's not worth reading because he's going to add on and expand a lot of that. Like I'm going to read Supernatural Encounters again, in my opinion, for the first time. A lot of things will be cleaned up, edited. There may be a boy in his Ewok somewhere in there. I don't know.
Alex, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to... So there was a comment earlier by Granny Toes talking about Guide to Warfare and Verget. It's not in Guide to Warfare. It's in the Jedi versus Sith one that talks about Verget. And I think it's the best way it could have possibly been handled in there, because it does mention Legacy of the Force, that Verget was possibly, because we really only have Lumaya to go off of, saying that she was an apprentice to Darth Sidious. And the Jedi versus Sith book essentially says, well, Jason is really the only one that spent a lot of time with her, and we really don't know. Maybe she was a Sith, maybe she wasn't. You decide, basically, is what the book's trying to say. So it leaves room for you to keep whatever opinion you want of her.
It could have been another lie.
Yeah, but that's what I took it as, because she's a Sith.
No, I agree with you. I know what you're saying. That definitely wills within wills there.
Hey Matt, I got two more questions. I'm trying to keep quiet because
no, that was fine. Go ahead.
So with one, I think one kind of ties in with the other, but specifically, what do you think about him adding in stuff from canon, like Disney canon,
like
and
Star Wars Rebels and stuff?
Yeah.
And
what do you?
Yeah, here's the thing. Joe can do whatever he wants to. He likes mixing canon. I don't. I've talked to him about it. We've laughed about it. I love Joe. So we just agree to disagree at that.
All right. And the other one was specifically with the World Between Worlds.
I'm sorry. Let me just add. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but let me just add that Joe does come back and say, well, there are alternate realities, because obviously in the Marvel comic book, the one issue where Lando and the Falcon zip into some kind of weird alternate reality for a minute. And then the other one he gives me is Other Space, which is one of my favorite West End game adventures ideas, where there are other dimensions, and there's this group of nihilists that go out there and they just want to just destroy everything. and they try to enter the expanded universe twice and fail. What are they called? The Choron? I can't remember. It's been a while. They worship
Are you
death.
talking about other space, or are you talking about?
They're the Star Wars version of Darkseid or Thanos. You know, who's in love with death? Thanos is in the comic books, and he wants everyone to he wants to kill everyone. So I think they're called the Choron, but they're in West End Games Other Space, and that's all they want is
They're like
death. They're
they're
crazy.
spider-like, aren't they?
Yeah, spider. They got like 4 feet, 2 arms. So yeah, they're about 6. Oh, well, they may have 4 arms. I can't remember. They may be octopeds, but anyway. So Joe uses those as examples to say you could have both universes, because Joe is full on both universes exist. And I said, I'm fine with that if the Choron have wiped out the new canon characters. If that were to happen, then I'd be fine with that. There they are. Yeah, look at them. No, it's not a picture of your future child, Alex. This is a Star Wars.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Okay.
Who did I marry to get that?
So,
wow.
Slav, go ahead. What's your next question? No, I haven't yet.
Did I do it with the Queen Spider from the Silmarillion?
I was just going to ask about World Between Worlds specifically. I don't know if you know what that is. Which is kind of tying with the whole multiverse.
Rebels, which introduces kind of time travel.
I mean, again, I wouldn't do it, but it's not my book.
That's fair.
And Joe knows this. Joe knows I disagree with him on it. But this is the fun thing when you talk about two people who have common sense. You can agree to disagree and not hate each other afterwards.
Gotcha. So and just was is it true he had to put this through Lucasfilm Story Group, or at least the version he's doing now?
Yeah, no, he was asked. You know, Abel G. Pena got the opportunity to complete and finish his Skywalker's one. Mm-hmm. And Joe at first got the green light too to finish his. Joe's busy though. Joe does more than, I'm not saying Abel G. Pena wasn't busy, but Abel G. Pena was just writing a short story. Joe was writing this, you know, however many things. He was writing some ongoing thing for StarWars.com. It's going to be huge. Not as huge as it intended to be now, but at the same time, he said, "Hey, do I, you know, have permission to?" And they did. They gave him permission, carte blanche, everything. And as the kids say now, Joe has the receipts. I mean, he actually has the emails from Pablo and everyone saying, "Yes, you may." It's funny to hear Pablo going, "I don't know what he's talking about." Well, Pablo, he's got your email.
I was going to ask, is Pablo going to read it?
No, he's not. No, because here's something. It's like, go ahead and publish it, just like Abel G. Pena did. But it's more of a what would have been, you know. Yeah, it's going to be over in the legend side. And, you know, they're not very concerned about it. And this is the problem. If Joe would have done it right then and there with Abel G. Pena, let's say he didn't have another job. His job is editing. He has to get that was free work he's been doing, putting this book together. It's been working for free. The fundraiser was just to get by the artist and the book printings and the shipping. That's all it covered. He worked for free, but he didn't have time to work for free when he has to work for money. So he had to take on. He was taking on several jobs at the time. I mean, he was editing several books for Sequart. I know because I was on one of those collection of what's it called? Collection of goodness gracious, my brain's not working tonight. But it'll come to me in a minute. But anyway, collection. It's not short stories, but collection of dissertations. Reports.
Was it a more?
No, a more civil. Yeah, the book of More Civilized Age. That's what is it? What are the things called? They're like
memoirs.
Essays. Thank you. Book of essays. That's what I'm thinking about. Bravo. But he was doing that. He did it he worked with Rich's publisher for a little while. He went back to Sequart. He did one for Blade Runner. When the new movie is coming out, they want to do a Blade Runner book of essays. And I got asked if I would write one about how the book differs from the movie. I was so interested in that, but I had to turn them down because at the time I was getting paid way more to write Dinner Theater. About 10 times more. So I had to delegate. And turn him down for that. But Joe was working for years on other projects just to make money. And then when he finally got back around to it, I mean, the green light's still good. He's just finishing off what he was done. So
like, what's your opinion with Pablo? Because Pablo, well, you probably aren't on Twitter, but Pablo talks about like Legends frequently, and he talks good about it, especially about West End game stuff he worked on.
Well, that's because that's how he got his start.
Yeah,
West End games, so he would talk good about them. He better.
I wouldn't say.
So it's like, since you think he'd care, you think
I wouldn't say Pablo's pretty negative about the EU from what I've seen nowadays.
Well,
really.
Here's the thing. He
Yeah.
does have an affinity toward the old West End Games days because he was one of the writers and everything. That's how he got his foot in the door at Lucasfilm eventually. There are some times he said some pretty insulting things. And this is the sad thing because I'm not on Twitter, so I only see the insulting things he says. I completely believe you if he says good things about it, and that's good to understand, but he should be way more supportive of it. He seems to downplay it a lot in a lot of his tweets. Now, he may remember the good old days. Go ahead.
Is it just because he wants to keep a job, or is it something he truly feels?
For some reason, the attitude at Lucasfilm is they hate that people still ask and love Legends. I don't know why.
Yeah.
They have this. It is really weird. Talking to Lucasfilm, which I've told everyone this story. We spoke to Lucas, me saying Brian Borg, Joe, a few other people during the pandemic. Twin sons could not get into hospitals or schools because of COVID. Well, that's their whole charity drive. So I talked to Brian about it. We talked with Joe, and we kind of came up with an idea to petition Lucasfilm for the for the rights to Legends. Now, before whenever we'd ask Lucasfilm, whenever Brian would talk to Lucasfilm, the contact would say, "Let me talk to legal," or "Let me talk to someone. I'll get back with you." Usually this is about the convention celebration back and forth, or we had questions about this or that, what we could or couldn't do on fundraising, because we told them about the billboard. So what can we not do? What because we talked to them, and we said, "Hey, look, we can't get in, so we wondered, could we do Legends?" Oh no, we said, could we do short stories on the website and just call them Legends, like non-canon, right? Because Legends is non-canon. And he came back within 45 minutes, no new Legends.
Oh my gosh!
Didn't even have to check it, because that is some 10 commandment written on their walls. And they want you to hate. I mean, because here's the thing. What are they, honestly, what are they using to fuel all their stories? They're digging through they hire people to dig through all the comic books, all the books, find stories, Frankenstein them into movies. Everyone was shocked when I predicted the end of episode 9 before episode 7 came out, or after episode 7 came out, I predicted what episode 9 would be. How? Because I've read Legacy of the Force. That's how I knew. I mean, it is just, you could tell some of the stories that they're in. When people read, they'll tell me some of these stories. I went, "Oh, you mean like in Force Unleashed," or "Oh, you mean like in," and then I named the book that they got that from, or the comic book. When my buddy's telling me about cool scenes of this and that, I'm like, "Yeah, who was riding a Rancor? Yeah, just like there were in Courtship of Princess Leia, the Dothamir Witches. Yeah, seen that. Yeah, good. Glad they brought that in there." I mean, it's just all stuff that's just rehashed and repurposed.
Do you think that it's possible with new management coming in possibly soon, who knows when, like upper management, that could change? Or do you?
Yeah, because I'll tell you this. We were told that that is from, I said, "Well, can you check with legal?" I mean, that was a pretty fast answer. And they said that comes from top. Up top.
Wow.
We weren't told how. I don't know if that's Jennifer Heddle up top. I don't know if it's Kathleen Kennedy up top. It's someone up top. They don't want any more Legends, because they want you to like their new product. They want to sell you the new stuff. They don't want you buying the old. It's like your mom and dad they made things built to last back in the day. Well, now they don't. They make things that'll break down, so you'll buy it again and again. But it's like Legends was such a smooth machine. We don't want you looking at that, because then you'll know where we're getting all of our stuff, our ideas. But
Yeah, they still
Slov,
can continue to frequently sell it. What's up?
something that Pablo Hidalgo said that I was like, why? He posted a picture of an empty shopping mall and said, "This is how many people want Legends to continue."
well,
When did you do that?
the thing is, well,
5-6 years ago, I used to have a screenshot of it.
well, the thing is, and for those, I saw a comment here wishing Joe would get rid of all the canon stuff. In Joe's mind, looking at all this other stuff, I mean, he'll build a case for why there are alternate universes, and yes, I mean, that he used other space was really smart, because I was hoping he'd forget that, but it was Joe. He's not going to forget anything. And
You may want to talk to Lance about it, because me and my buddy Titus and Marcel were talking to him in Discord, and we were telling him what Joe was going to put in Supernatural Encounters, and Lance didn't take it too well. So
Yeah, he's not very happy.
yeah,
I'm not happy about it either.
I mean,
I
yeah,
hate
but
it.
remember, it's Joe's book, and Joe's trying to just tie something in to make some epic, to try to explain it all, to bring in Legends. And to be fair, this is exactly what Matt Martin from the Story Group was talking about. There is no official canon. Everything's canon, whatever you want to be canon. And Joe's mind. Say what?
I was like, that's interesting you say that, because in Disney canon, don't they view Legends as like things people tell each other, like in the universe itself? Like that's how they think it happened.
That's how they initially explain it to us. But now recently, Matt Martin, I say recently, earlier this year, I believe, was making comments like, because people were because the new canon is full of holes. It's chock full of contradictions already. And to shut the fans up, he's like, look, canon's whatever you want it to be. If you want it to be Legends, you want it to be this, you want it to be that, you just pick and choose what you want. Okay. For me, I've always gone by the word of what Lucasfilm says. When Lucasfilm was run by George, they said the EU was canon, so I kept it as canon. When they said it wasn't going to be canon anymore, it's going to be Legends, okay. Wasn't happy about it, but okay, what's done is done. And now when Matt Martin from the Story Group, says something like that, which basically, if you think about it, these guys are all giving up. The Story Group was a joke. They're a joke. They were put in there to excite fans, thinking there was going to be one overall arcing story. They had no intention of doing that. They had no way of knowing how to do that. And now they're mad because the fans have realized they've been lied to the whole time. And so just like a liar who got caught, he just calls them silly, immature, stupid, just tried to play it off like, what are you guys so worried about? Y'all should do anything canon want. All we're doing this. What did Pablo and even Jason Fry, which I was sad to say, were like, hey guys, just the EU's way too it's unmanageable. So we had to shorten the lore to 5,000 years. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, I retweeted Pablo or quote tweeted him, and I said, this sounds like someone who's just lazy and doesn't want to do their job. And then Jason Fry blocked me on Twitter.
Well, here's the thing. And you know what? Jason Fry, it's sad that he's a jerk, because he wrote a really good book, and so did Pablo.
Exactly.
And the thing is that these guys should know it's manageable, and it's been done, and it's impressive when it's been done. And it is just laziness. You've been then what the heck were you doing for 35 years?
Exactly.
You were managing a pretty darn perfect overall continuity over 35 years. Unheard of. Never seen.
Yeah, until 2008 with Force Unleashed and TCW, that kind of
until the dark times.
Yeah, I was actually going to talk to people about that, not just Filoni, Hayden Blackman too, but 2008 was kind of like a year where like all that stuff kind of started happening, right? Where they started messing with the lore with the Dark Apprentice. I was going to say something else. Shoot, I forgot.
Well, there was 2008, and then there was the sort of soft reboots that we started to see in 2013, 2014 with the Brian Wood.
Brian Wood and Honor Among Thieves.
Yeah, and Dawn of the Jedi, or not? Is it Dawn of? That was kind of.
That was just a bad book. So easily mistaken.
Answer an earlier question. It would take a new head of department to say, hey, look, let's just get, and it's not just the fans. They got to think about making money, letting the people who they partner with, the toy companies, the books, the whatever comic books, let them make their money, because of the lack of product, okay, the decline of the product, I should say, of Star Wars. Star Wars is losing its grip on, the public eye. They're not collecting it. They're not buying it. They're not, purchasing Star Wars stuff anymore. So how do you keep the value of, selling the rights away to Star Wars? Well, you let the publishers publish some darn Legends books, new Legends stories. Marvel wants to do it. I've talked to Marvel. They want to do it. They've gotten a hard no from Lucasfilm. And although I've never talked to Del Rey personally, I guarantee you they would do a new Legends novel if they could.
Yeah,
they're
Legends,
not allowed.
Like they've said on Twitter they would if they could.
Yes, and they would, because that would make money. Hasbro, in a heartbeat. They do it through polls inconspicuously, but in a heartbeat. If they got the green light to reprint, or because they're starving for someone to buy something. And guess what? EU figures always do well.
Yeah,
I buy them.
Make more. If there's someone more, but you've got to do this not only for your fans, but you've got to do it for your vendors, the people who are buying your product. They keep damaging their market value with every awful movie, with every awful TV show, with every awful decision they've been making. Put in someone new, like I say Michael Jordan, okay? I'm gonna have to go in just a minute. I hear when my little girl's crying. Put in like a Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan had a great quote. He said, "Even Republicans buy shoes." Right. So you don't have to agree with me politically, but I want to buy from both of them.
One last question from me. I'll let everybody.
Yeah. Can y'all just talk for just a minute? Let me go get her.
Oh, yeah, sure.
As to the Dawn of the Jedi comment, it's bad, but it's not as bad as Bounty Hunter Wars. So no, I would not chuck it across. I did not.
Well, the only reason I said that is because it was like one of those things that was added into the continuity post 2008.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Oh no, not to the comment made by
Continuity
by
was
Granny.
good stuff.
I know, but it's like starting over new. It's not as bad. I'm not saying it is. It's just
It wasn't. It fit. It fit perfect.
Yeah, there's nothing contradictory about it.
I wasn't saying it was contradicting. I was just saying it was adding a new piece to the lore. But you're right. It didn't contradict anything. I should have specified that.
Alex.
Yeah.
Look what you did to Blue Pig.
All great questions, guys.
I mean, Blue Pig also says the Heir to the Empire is boring, so.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't agree with that. So.
I
would read my Dark Force Rising. That didn't go as well for me the second time.
I've been wanting to ask Matt some of these questions for a while. I just I don't know how to get in touch with them. I guess I could do it through email, but
yeah,
it's different. Like having a
yeah, it's like having a celebrity there. You're able to talk to him.
Yeah. It's like having an old friend in.
The first time I was on the stream with Matt on Lance's channel, as soon as he popped up and was on the stream, my mic was muted, but I was freaking out a little bit because I followed him from 2018.
It's literally all of us.
The king of the EU. He's a genuine celebrity in these circles.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I remember the first time I started to actually talk to him. It was crazy because he was actually talking to me. And somehow our relationship has evolved because he used to talk to me like how he talks to Brendan. And then now it's just backing me 24/7. So
2 years.
All right, what are we at?
Maybe. You're more like Christopher Nelson, so I don't think he'll change.
To answer your last question, whenever Alex closes his eyes, he sees Sheev walking out of the clone tank.
What did I tell you?
You're listening.
Oh
no!
I know it's
okay.
Monologuing to Luke.
What's your other question, sir?
I have so many questions. Sorry, but yeah, my other question. I lost track of it. As you can see, it's tired. I'm tired, man. It's late.
I'm tired too.
Yeah, it'll come back up. Anybody else have any questions?
Well, dang, I'm sorry you forgot your question there.
Oh, it's cool. children are more important. Taking care of them.
Definitely.
No,
More important than Chief.
One wakes up in the middle of the night always crying for mama and then
Mm.
goes back to sleep. That's why I need Alex here, so then I don't have to deal with it.
Is Alex qualified for that?
No, I'm not. I don't compare to Matt.
Qualities would count enough to where it would calm her down.
If Matt is a 5-star restaurant, I'm Burger King.
Burger King is such an awful place. I hate that they have surge there, but because I always want to get something else, but even their fries are garbage. I hate Burger King so much.
Well, it's a good thing I picked Burger King. Then it's a perfect analogy.
I will say nothing beats a regular surge. Even though I did try I did not try vanilla, Brennan, because that's because I don't like vanilla flavoring.
Gotcha. Yeah, you said that.
In my soda.
Not even like a vanilla Coke.
Dark Force Rising is more
I
boring.
hate vanilla Coke. Oh, and even though Bang is extremely hard to get, Sam's is still selling off a bunch of their stuff for really cheap. So I went online and bought some. So
Nice.
I know, I was so happy.
Well, that is past midnight for me now.
Oh my goodness.
So
Get some sleep, sir.
I am afraid I will be ending this now. Thanks to everyone who joined. Marcel and Slov been here for a while.
Yeah.
Alex, and of course the Chancellor of the EU himself.
Talking to his wife.
It was
Yes, I'm talking to the missus.
it was
Hello,
great
Mrs.
for to talk to everyone in the comments. And it was great for everyone to join. I'm always honored when people join because I'm a newcomer, so it's always a lot of fun. So with that being said, I'm gonna end the broadcast here, and thanks for everyone who joined.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Good talking to
I
you,
was
sir.
going to remember his question the moment you hit stop.
Yeah, it's gonna watch it happen.
That's what always works.